This is the DE1XL model of the Decent Espresso machine. Now it comes in white and black, and as you can see, you can run it either on the tabletop or countersink. Now let me explain a little bit the various options and how it differs from our DE1 Pro model. So the first thing is it's about 4 centimeters longer, and the DE1 Pro model ends here where this black panel is. What we do with the XL model is we extend it 4 centimeters further so that all the cables can go here, and then they go into this hole here and come out the bottom. The advantage of that is that when you put this back panel on, which is magnetized, then all the cables are hidden. If you've got a machine that is either facing customers or it's in a kitchen island, this is a much tidier approach. With the DE1 Pro, this is what people see in the back. They see the cables and the wire tube. So this is our way of cleaning everything up. Now with the tabletop version, it's common for people to have a hole cut out here for the tube to go directly through the table and then to where they need to go. With the countersink option, which is you put the espresso machine in here, this is where the front goes here and the tubes go out directly. Now the reason that the tubing is in the front is so that the dirty water, which is here, has a clear, straight path. Now that's preferable because espresso can be quite sludgy as it's going out the flush tube, and so it's better to have as straight a tube as you can have. If you are going countersunk and you're having the water come out the back, we do supply you with a 90-degree bend that goes from the front here all the way to the back. The DE1XL model is made to be countersunk, and it's just a little bit taller. It's about half a centimeter taller than the DE1 Pro model. And you absolutely can put the Pro into the countersink. It'll be half a centimeter in, but more importantly, the back will still be visible and there'll be 4 centimeter gap in the back. So the XL model was specifically made so that it would work with that countersink. You may also notice that countersinking it lowers it quite a bit on the table, which is really handy in the sense that if you are at a cafe, you can have more eye contact, more interaction with the customer, or if you have it at home, it's set in and it's blocking less the view of your kitchen. So that's the idea there. The idea behind this countersink came from a meeting I had with a big name Italian espresso machine company, and they were drinking a bit and laughing about how many cafes that they had flooded with accidental leaks of their machine. Now, I'm a software programmer. I have been since I was 14 years old, and I have spread countless bugs around the universe. I'm very aware that my work as a programmer is flawed at times, despite my best efforts for it not to be. And so when we designed this espresso machine, Ray, who's the hardware engineer, but also a programmer, had very much the same philosophy. Let's try not to screw up, but if the unexpected does happen, let's make sure it has as little impact as possible. So this, while it's called a countersink, emphasis on the word sink. This is basically a sink with a drainage hole. And when you put the espresso machine into the sink, it means should anything ever leak inside here, it's all going to get captured and it's all going to come out of this tube. And that means that when you've countersunk the machine, you've essentially got an insurance policy against anything going wrong in terms of water. Anything that's an open tap, I'm always afraid about leaving the freezer making ice on my home refrigerator when I'm not home during the holidays, and it's much the same thing. Anything that's an open tap is potentially a risk, and that's why we made the countersunk. We also think it just looks kind of nice to have this very sleek, modernist, minimalist look. The back panel does come off. It is simply magnetized. Let me walk you through what the connections are in the back. So you've got power on, off. You've got this plug here, which is going to power a pump or a valve that brings water into here. Now that is our catering kit, which is for water that needs to be pumped into the machine, or it's our refill kit if you've got pressurized water, for example, from a reverse osmosis machine, that will go into here. So a pump or a valve. This cable here is a power cable, and it powers that when the tank that's in here senses that it needs to get topped up with water. And the topping up happens automatically. If you countersink and you put it into a cart or a table, the refill kit and the catering kit both have brackets so they can be mounted to the underside and basically stay out of the way. It just becomes invisibly part of your plumbing. So here it is front facing, and typically if this DE1XL were used on a countertop and not plumbed in, you would use it with this drip tray here. This drip tray comes in white and black versions. If you get the white machine, you'll get the white drip tray. If you get the black machine, you get the black drip tray. And the unplumbed version, which doesn't have a hole here, is what comes with your machine when you buy it. When you buy a refill kit, you can get a black or white version, and it has a hole, which you can see here, and there's the tube. A black rubber tube, which comes with the drain kit, that's what this is called, goes through the hole that is in the countersink, and that's the hole for the countersink. Another aspect of the DE1XL model is that the steam wand is considerably larger. It is meant to be able to steam larger vessels like the 600 milliliter milk jug, so you can make 2 drinks at once, whereas the DE1 Pro comes with a much smaller steam wand, which is really meant to steam 1 drink at a time. The steaming time is the same between the Pro and the XL. The only thing that differs is this larger wand here, which also is shaped like professional machines as opposed to the Pro, which is shaped more like a home machine steam wand. If you're coming from the professional world, you may be asking a question, which is, why are there not 2 and 3 group versions of the decent espresso machine? Why are they only making these 1 group models? Well, there's a very specific reason for that. These are light and they can be shipped all over the world really quickly. On average, it takes 2.2 days for a machine to come from us to anywhere in the US, for instance. So should a machine break, you will find that it is quite easy to lift the machine out and simply put it into a suitcase, send it out, either for repair or for a swap. And that is our entire philosophy, is the world of professional espresso machines has been dependent on local repair because their machines are so damned heavy. When you've got a 2 or 3 group machine and 2 people have to lift it onto a pallet in order to send it somewhere, you're going to have to send people out. And that means they have to pass the cost onto you as well of having a service fleet all over the planet. We're able to make a machine which is quite compelling, I'd like to think, and do all the repairs really quickly. So turnaround is typically 24 hours when we get the machine, and it takes 2 days each way. So generally a repaired machine is out of your hands and back in your hands within a week because this machine is so light. It's also independent. If you have a 2 or 3 group machine and something goes wrong, typically the entire machine goes down. And with this, you'll have 2 or 3 machines, 1 goes down, the other ones are still working. Even better, we recommend that if you are a cafe, you have a +1 spare that you use for weddings and farmers markets or what have you. And should something go wrong with one of your machines, you just swap it, send it out, and within a week, it's back again. And essentially, you're looking at a half hour to unplumb and plumb it back in and be back and running. So you don't have this dependence on, sorry, cafe closed until repairman shows up, which happens all too frequently. And if you are in the industry, you'll know that the average time between repairs is 1 month at a professional cafe. That's why they come very regularly every few weeks to fix things before they break, because professional machines do break from the heavy use, and you have to plan for that. So let me show you what it looks like when it's fully plumbed in. I'll take it out and put it back in, and you get an idea of that swap process. I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna take that off, take the drip tray off, and there you can see the tube. And looking inside the countersink, you can see where the tube connects to for water to go out. If water ever spilled out of the machine, it would drain out of this tube. So generally what I do is I take out the water tank by lifting up the back and pulling this forward, like so. And then I lift up the machine slightly, like that, and take the water tank out. This is also something that's really worth doing weekly if you're in a commercial setting, because you do want to keep this clean. Now, this is another advantage of it not being a boiler, is that a boiler, there's all sorts of stuff accumulating inside the boiler, but you can't get to it, not directly at least, because the boiler's sealed. And this is something that can go into a dishwasher and fully clean it, or you can spray it with some products and clean it. And this is made of porcelain, so you really can scrub it. You won't do damage. You can get it back to perfect cleanliness. Anyone who works in a commercial environment knows you have to be able to clean everything. You have to be able to take everything apart. So now the machine is ready to get lifted out. And it weighs about 13 kilos. And I've lifted out, and I can go get another one or do whatever I need to. And this is the process in reverse now to put it back in. So I take it, and I set it back in like so. Then with the group handle, I'll lift the machine up sideways and then slide the water tank in. Set the machine down, close that down. We fit a cheese over into the hole. There we go. And the dip tray cover goes back on. That is an overview of the DE1XL model. To summarize, it has the same internals as the Pro model, but a different steam wand. It can be countersunk, and it also has a back panel that hides all the electronics. It comes in a black and white model. Now we also have a DE1XXL model, which looks identical to the DE1XL model, except that it has more power for making more steam, faster hot water and such, and it's even more appropriate for a commercial setting. That DE1XL model only comes in a 220-volt version. If you've got any questions about the DE1XL, please ask in the comments below and we will try to help you out. Thanks for watching.